everybody, Living Diecast. We got a cool showcase today. Yes, a very, very cool showcase. Something we've never had on the channel before. As a matter of fact, something you can't even buy in the U.S. These are OZ wheels. These are all Holdens. They are from, actually, they're not all Holdens. There's some Ford Falcons in here, too. Australian models. Australian models from Australia, obviously. Officially licensed Holden. This is Series 1. There's several series. These are quite old. I did get this from a trade partner that I have in Australia named Jackson. So thank you very much for those, Jackson. Appreciate that. I've been sitting on these for a little bit, just kind of waiting to get to them for the kind of flow of the videos. So this particular Series 1 is all HQ models. So you have your GTS Custom, 4-door Custom, Kingswood, all those kind of stuff. And nothing particularly fancy. This was the very first release right here. So there was, of course, a sticker down here. Looks like maybe $24.05. Hopefully that wasn't the price, because that's pretty expensive if that was. Made in China, and then, of course, Diecast Distributors Australia, because that is where it's from. So this one's doing a burnout on there. Holden HQs, it says right there. So let's go ahead. There you go. There's the price. 15 Australian dollars. So that puts it on par with a pretty typical premium, Hot Wheels Premium. So it's about the price of a Hot Wheels Premium here in the U.S. So that's not too bad. We'll see the quality details and all that good stuff of this particular model. This being the Holden HG Kingswood. So it does say Kingswood right there on the quarter panel, which is pretty nice. The windows are solid color, so my assumption would be is there is no interior in these models. They do feel very solid though. Metal base on these as well. So some pretty good details on there. Of course, made in China. It says OZ wheels. Rubber tires. So tires are rubber, which is very, very nice. Detail, fit, and finish on these models are excellent. The quality looks very, very, very good. It says OZ wheels right there on the plate. Very, very nice. No mirrors on these, but do have all the nice prints on there. Door handles, the window surrounds. Of course, it's got the white top on there. A little bit of details on the back here. There is the tail lights. And then, of course, there is some details here on the top. Can't really read that on the left side, but I'm pretty sure it says Holden. And then Kingswood on the right side. That is a pretty nice model. It rolls very, very good. It is just standard rivet, standard build for a diecast car. But very, very nice. Quality looks ridiculously good, actually. Very, very nice quality. And the prints are very, very nice as well. All right, moving on to Series 2, because I just have a smorgasbord random assortment here. So this is a barn find slammed edition for Series 2. Series 2 was definitely far more involved. This one is the HQ Monero, which is, of course, the two-door. We did get this model as a Boulevard. It's also been in a two-pack for Hot Wheels Premium, although the castings are significantly different. This one happens to be 11 of 12. For the particular series, it doesn't list a picture of them on the back on Series 2. That's just the way it is. So we'll go ahead and get our Monero, our VQ HQ Monero out there. So this one's supposed to be a barn find. So, you know, it's pretty dirty, pretty dusty. Kind of been beat up kind of here and there. The tires and stuff look pretty good. So just some overspray with the dirtiness for the wheels, which not a huge fan. I'd rather them spray the wheels and then put the tires on. I know it doesn't look that great, but it looks a little bit better than that. Details on the front, very crisp. I mean, the prints are fantastic. The prints look really good on these models. Fit and finish for the parts and everything look very, very good as well. Grill and stuff is a separate piece. Bumper is a separate piece. Details on the top says 76. Couple stripes on there. The weathering effect looks very, very good. Looks very believable. Then it's kind of interesting because the windshield wiper lines for the dirtiness are not the same direction as the windshield wipers. But well, we'll give them a pass. We'll give them a pass. At least they're trying. At least they're trying. So this one's a little bit on the more slammed side as well. Does have the same details in the back as far as the tail lights go as that previous one we looked at. And then, of course, just a prototypical base, which is also metal. Again, no interior. I'm pretty sure they don't have interior. There's no reason to make the windows solid color like that if there was no interior. But that is a pretty solid one. All right, another barn find for Series 2. This one being number 1 of 2, or 1 of 12, I'm sorry. There is our first Ford, our XW Falcon Ute. Yes, they're called Utes in Australia. Very popular. You can still buy Utes nowadays. The American market has all but given up on the car with a bed on it. So this is a Falcon. Very, very cool looking. This is something that I've never actually seen this car, even a picture of this car. It's similar in size to a Ranchero, but it's certainly not a Ranchero. Details look pretty good. The weathering effect again looks pretty good. This one looks more like it's, been driving in the Outback. To be honest with you, it looks like the original color on this car was probably blue. I think that is a really cool addition right there. Really cool details right there. That actually looks pretty good. Actually looks really, really good, to be honest with you. It may look like there's an opening hood, but there are no opening features on these models. So even though it looks like there might be an opening hood, it is not opening. This has some pretty good details on the front. Not really much to it. There is a little bit of print there, so you can see a corner light right there. The steelies look very good. I think the steelies are probably the best looking part of it. Very interesting design for the back of the cab, and the belt line's pretty high in comparison to the window. It's a pretty cool design. It's significantly different than a Ranchero here for the U.S. market for sure, but that's kind of cool. I think this one actually looks really, really good. And of course, the quality is actually fantastic. I'm actually quite blown away at the great quality that those are, because they really have some very, very good quality to them. All right, another one from Series 2 Barn Find. This one is number 7 of 12. This is our Holden HG Panel van, which is modified. It's got a blower sticking out of it. So we'll take a look at our HZ Panel van. Yes, a two-door wagon, basically. A two-door wagon. That is kind of cool, with kind of a shorter wheelbase. Very interesting. Very interesting. It's a Sandman on the back. Your dad's worst nightmare. That's hilarious. It's probably an ode to an actual, deco or an actual paint job on an actual HZ panel van, I'm sure. But the quality is really, really nice. They did a really good job with the patina. The only thing that could be better, and I don't really know if they could do it, is just a little bit different finish. I think the rust and stuff and the details they have actually looks really, really good. You would have a little bit more surface gloss on the paint versus like the rust or even the primered areas. It wouldn't be smooth sheen all the way across that. But I don't really think that that's something they could probably do. The wheels on this one look really, really good. Like those 5 spokes, kind of a little deeper dish. Kind of cool aspect there. You see the details on the front. This is a quad headlight. So this one is significantly different than what we looked at before. Of course, it's the HZ, which is significantly different than the HQ. Interesting names for the models down there in Australia. Now, the reason that I think that maybe that one looks like it has an opening hood is they probably have versions that can have a blower in it. This one looks like this was tooled up specifically to have the blower sticking out. Doesn't look like the hood is interchangeable. That's something that Greenlight does, is they just make the parts interchangeable. They don't actually open, but that is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's a very interesting wheelbase wagon. Even though they call it a panel, to me it's a wagon. All right, something that's very, very different for Series 2, factory spec slammed edition. The Police Falcon GT, this is number 10 of 12. So this is supposed to be a little bit more like a factory police car, but it's slammed, which is a very interesting take. I do like when manufacturers get a little bit freestyle like that. So this is supposed to be decoed up just like a police car, like an actual police car, visually, all that kind of stuff. But of course, it's nice and slammed, as you can clearly tell. Big deep dishes on the back, which look really, really good. They roll very, very well. They look similar to GM rally wheels. Definitely look similar to GM rally wheels. Obviously, they're not. This is a Falcon, so if it was a Holden, maybe you could stretch it that far, but not being a Falcon. Details on the front, very, very cool. It's got quad headlights on there. This one, again, does not have an opening hood, although it certainly is a separate piece. Again, that's probably for blowers and stuff like that. Same plate details as the rest of them. Got a loudspeaker on the top. Very interesting sirens on there. Very, very interesting sirens on there. Says police on the side. It is white and orange, which is a interesting color combo as well. Details in the back, again, prints look very, very good. Taillight details look good. It rolls really, really good. Too bad there's no interior. You know, it's a shame that there's no interior. But honestly, I don't really think that's big of a killer. Now, they also do 2-packs, and Jackson was nice enough to give me a 2-pack as well, which are basically like the Car Culture mix, 2-pack Car Culture ones. I'm assuming that most of these 2-packs are probably themed or work together. These ones happen to be Holden panels. Both of them are Holden panels. Series 1 for this one right here. Details on the back just gives a little bit of the details for the model itself. So the brown panel, or sorry, blown panel, and then of course the Sandman panel right there. Two completely polar opposites of each other. So let's get this cracked open. This one doesn't have a price on it, but it's probably somewhere around 25 Australian dollars, somewhere around there. There is a little bit of tape on there holding the little clamshell thing together. So we will cut that tape real quick, get the two models out of there. There we go. Get that off of the studio. We'll take a look at our blown panel first. It does have mismatched wheels. Of course, the ones in the back are supposed to be like, you know, kind of like the slicks, kind of like what they're going to use to do some crazy burnouts. Because trust me, dude, down in Australia, they do some crazy burnouts with some of this stuff. It says Outlaw on the back. That's pretty cool. Looks very, very nice. You see that decal is added on top of the paint, which is a very interesting design. That is a kind of like a knight with a with his mask or his helmet on, and of course he's got flames coming out. It looks really cool, actually. That's a pretty cool logo right there. Same on the other side. Some red line on the tires in the back. The front ones are significantly larger than the back ones. That is intentional. That is definitely Australia flavor for burnout contests and stuff like that. This is a different front end. So the one we saw before was the quad headlight setup. This one has single headlight, which looks significantly better. I like this look way better. Big blower on the top looks very, very good. Chrome supercharger sticking up there as well. More decals up there. The decals look very good, actually. They're actually placed on there very, very nicely. A little bit of residue on there, kind of green light style, but kind of like some stars and stuff like that. That looks cool. And of course, the front tires are chrome. Those are the same 5 spokes that were on this Holden panel. They're just in chrome. I think that looks super cool, but it's intentional. I mean, this thing is 100% intentional to be a drag kind of burnout monster and kind of have that crazy reverse rake to it. And I think that's actually kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool. All right, this one right here is like the polar opposite. This is like, that's what your crazy neighbor would drive. And then this is what like the retired guy in the neighborhood would drive who's like never had any fun in his whole life. But I really like this color. And it's like a textured matte finish. I don't know. It's really nice to just touch. It looks very, very nice. I really like the paint on this. It looks good. The paint on these models are almost finish wise almost as good as cartooned. Almost. I mean, it's some high quality stuff. Details on the front look very, very good. It does have some nice chrome steelies on there with some nice hubcaps on there. I really like that kind of classic look. I think this one looks really cool. Then, of course, it says SurfRunner on the back. I want to make sure I pronounce that right. Palm trees and stuff like that on the back. You know, it's kind of a hippie van, kind of a surfer kickback, laid back van. It's got a spare tire there on the top. Looks like surfboard with some accessories, maybe even a jerry can up there. The piece that it's attached to is painted green to match the roof, but it is not intended to be like a separate roof rack per se. It's supposed to be like an actual like wire rack. It's cheaper and easier to do it this way, which I get it. Details on this side, there is where the fuel filler cap is, of course, because all Holdens are right-hand drive. They drive on the right side of the cars in Australia. So, of course, the fuel filler cap on the right side makes most sense. But I really like that one. I'll be honest with you. I think that one's my favorite of the whole batch. This is the first time I'm seeing these OZ wheels. They're actually really cool. And I'm really thankful that Jackson sent these to me. I've had these for a long time. Maybe even 10 months I've probably had these. But I kind of wanted to see, maybe if something else came up, something a little bit more interesting. Not that these are not interesting, but like, you know, just try to make it a little bit more expansive than rather just, you know, just a small selection. But I think it's cool, and I like to bring the different stuff to the channel. I like to bring the stuff that's not the mainstream stuff you're not going to find on most YouTube channels. This is the kind of cool stuff that I like bringing up. So you guys drop a comment. You let me know what you think about these. You guys down under, let me know what you think about these OZ wheels. I'm actually blown away at the quality of these. They're very, very good. The quality is fantastic. They're fantastic. You know, and if they truly are on par price-wise with a Hot Wheels Premium, I mean, hands down, these are a way better value by far. But anyways, drop a comment. Let me know. I'm always interested to hear what you guys think, especially when we bring something that's a little bit different here on Level M. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. You know how we roll here at YouTube. We're going to roll out. See you next time.